Oh, we got a good one for you. We got a good one for you. Start this boat up, baby. It's time to roll. It's 3 Guys Before the Game, special edition. Well, sure, it's going to be a special edition when our boy Hoppy's celebrating his birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Hercules, Hercules.
Hoppy, we're so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. That I made it this long?
Ooh. I tell you what, you're going to put all them candles on your cake and blow it out? Could you do it?
Yeah.
If we put 68 candles on the cake, could you blow it out? Over-under on 3. The over-under is 3.5 blows on 68 candles.
You could do that. You're still in shape. You run occasionally while you work out. You
Over-under, 68 candles on a cake, 3.5 blows.
Oh, no.
Under.
You
better move the line quickly because people are loading up on the under.
1.5.
That's a better one. That's the better line.
Yeah.
Here we go, 3 Guys Before the Game. It's episode 446. The title of the episode is Thanks for Having Us. West Virginia coming off a victory against the Cyclones of Iowa State, 72-69. We're going to try to put our arms around it. What was it? What was that made it so memorable? Lots of stuff there. We'll get into that. Also, your texts, and they have been plentiful. And the media that associates the text now, the pictures, just continues to grow as well.
Multimedia now.
Multimedia, which is good because obviously, we've made the transition to a heavy flow in September to be on YouTube's, right? And so now for those watching on YouTube's, they get to see the pictures. People make their picture.
A lot of people get their pictures made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 3 Guys Before the Game brought to us by the Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at burdettcamping.com.
I need to talk to you about that.
By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Go-Mart. If you are not a Go-Mart Rewards card member, you need to. Save on gas, your favorite snacks. Go to gomart.com rewards for more details. Go for good times, go for Go-Mart. And by Lou Wendell.
Frequent user of Go-Mart here over the last month.
I'll be there today.
Yeah, of course you will.
Be there this afternoon.
And by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. All right, man. So away we go. By the way, I was talking to Alex Ruoff yesterday, and I said YouTubes. Dude, he said, dude, YouTube.
He was scared that you were the old guy saying YouTubes. Yeah.
I said, Al.
That's a good lookout by Alex, though.
Yeah, I
appreciate the
lookout. He was watching up, and I said, Al. I said, yeah, no, I got to just being funny.
Did you say the YouTubes?
Yeah, YouTubes. Funny and dumb. You got to short a lot of it.
It's like I'm going over to the Go-Marts.
Yeah, exactly.
The Kroger.
Over the Krogers. Going to Kroger's.
No, the Kroger.
The Kroger. Going over to the Kroger. Well, happy birthday, Hoppy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Did you have a big cake already today?
Pie.
Excuse me?
My wife makes the best coconut cream pie. That's my favorite.
Get yourself a cup of coffee with it. Karen.
Line up best coconut pie in the world. On the world. Did you have it for breakfast?
No, but she made it. She timed it. She made it 4 days ago because I'm leaving for Charleston today. Today's my birthday, so each of us has a piece every day. 4 days. What?
Assigned eating. We each have a piece one day.
That's perfect.
That's the difference between you and us. Like we could like, oh, Karen, like if Joan made me a pie and said like, here, Tony, we're gonna have a piece each day. I'll go like, yeah, crushing it. This, I'm taking 3 today. If there's any left tomorrow, maybe. If not, who cares?
Bless Lars' heart. If it's out 4 days before the event and not making it to
really?
the event, yeah,
No.
don't have the same discipline you do.
I'm not sure I have great discipline, but it was nice to have a piece each day after dinner. Have a piece of pie.
Big cup of coffee. I'll make that decaf. I got to go sleep.
It was very good.
Oh, I can't wait till tonight. Get a piece of pie.
Oh, I got one more piece today.
Today's
Before
your
I go-
final. This
well,
is it.
it's
This
the
is it
final
today.
day.
Final day. Today's the last
You've
piece.
timed it perfectly. There's probably 2 pieces left. You have one. Karen has one.
So
Ends the pie.
today, when I'm enjoying that pie, I'll think about you guys and go, well, they would have been out of pie 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, so you've had a good weekend, so that's why you and the wife were seen at the varsity this weekend having a Kercheval. You were celebrating your birthday in advance.
We were at the varsity celebrating your birthday. Chuck, our neighbor, went with us.
Of course, why wouldn't he? I mean, because he brings Chuck with him in case any mechanical breakdown along the way. Chuck's got all the tools. He'll
Been with him when Chuck has had to bail us out with big situation
That's
over
right.
summer one time. Thank God for Chuck, got us out.
Yeah, there's a picture of Hoppy and the wife having a Kercheval. That's
Okay.
awesome. That's a chalice that they serve those in.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Did you order it?
I did.
You said I'd like a Kercheval.
No. You know what? I take that back. I think Karen said 2 Kerchevales. I think she did.
I wanted you to have to say your own name while ordering a beer.
Can I have 2 of me?
But we had a wonderful waitress, and
That's terrific.
So I
Always
had
great service at the varsity club.
great service. And in fact, full disclosure, I had 3 Kerchevales. 3. So Chuck drove.
Sure. Designated driver.
Chuck doesn't drink beer, and I tasted it. So Chuck drove us home, but I had 3 Kerchevales.
So Chuck doesn't drink. What were his thoughts when he took his taste? He liked it.
He liked it.
Yeah.
Why
wouldn't you?
Well, do you want to get into? You don't want to get the rest of the Kerchevales now, do you?
Oh no, we got too many. Let's do the game. Let's get into this thing.
Hey, and thanks to the varsity club because they picked up my tab.
Excuse me?
What?
Picked up my tab. I didn't ask for that. It was from Ernie because the waitress
proprietor, Ernie.
Yeah. So the waitress came over and said, I think Chuck or somebody said, "Do you know this beer is named for him?" And she said, "Oh yeah, word of spread." And said, "Ernie's taking care of you, Bill, here today. Don't worry about it." Picked up her tab.
Then you should have pulled a Hot Rod Hunley at that moment, stood up, and said, "Hey everybody, beer on me." That's what Hot Rod
thank
did.
you to the varsity club, which is, they have wonderful memorabilia there.
Oh, terrific. Yeah.
Just terrific. So we had.
Did you have the shrimp tacos by chance?
Fish tacos, yeah. Had fish tacos.
Oh, you had the fish, not the shrimp?
Had fish.
Okay.
Good.
Both good.
You ever heard that Hot Rod story? They brought him back here years ago. They were on, I think it may have been
When he hit the shot?
When they hit the shot, the hook shot. And they were at the Marriott on Friday night, and everyone's in the bar's packed because Hot Rod's there. So everyone, Hot Rod's here. So the bar's packed. So he asks the WVU aficionado who was with him from staff, "You guys got this?" He goes, "Yeah. Don't worry. We're taking care of the whole thing. We're taking care of the whole thing. We're taking care of the whole thing. We got it." So he asks him again. He said, "You sure you guys got this?" He goes, "Hot Rod, we yes sir, Rod, we've got it. It's all taken care of. We're going to take care of the whole thing." He goes, "Okay." Stands up.
Yeah.
What I just said. "Hey everybody!" He goes, "Next round's on me."
Classic Hot Rod. I will tell you this, Sony, that the place was packed. The game was on.
Yeah.
Kansas game. And the crowd was into it. Last possession, crowd not happy with that last possession.
Unruly.
I could understand why.
Unruly a little bit?
Not unruly, just,
Disappointed.
passionate Mountaineer fans expressing their displeasure, but it was
They have
place
the
was
radio.
hopping.
They have the radio broadcast
I'm
on.
sorry. It was just, I don't think any audio was on. I think it was just
Well, maybe
the
that.
pictures.
Well, maybe that needs to be rectified at varsity.
Maybe it was. It was kind of.
I mean, Kegler's puts the audio on.
I'll go there next.
Kroger
birthday.
used to. Kroger, yeah, football Saturdays. They
Kroger
put the
doesn't do
game
that
on.
now?
I don't think they do that now. I don't know. Trying to just get the carts out of the parking lot. Just calling for the cart guys. The carts, let's go. All right. So, how much time do we spend on Kansas?
Not much.
Boy, that was a game.
Gave it a great run.
Yeah.
If you had told me before that game that you'd hold Jalen Wilson to 11, you'd force 19 turnovers, I would have said, you might walk out of there with a win. You might have yourself a win.
Brad? What if we'd added to that? But West Virginia will have 21 turnovers.
Yeah, that would have been a concern.
Would you feel the same way?
No.
Okay.
No, but the fact you were in it with 21 turnovers is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Just didn't get the line enough.
They freaking balled out, man.
Didn't get the line, though.
4 guys in double figures. I mean, they left it out there. And obviously that was our 11th time that we've played there. We've come very, very close on a couple of occasions. And I thought, in hindsight, you look at it now, and like that was the one. And the last possession just went awry.
Yeah, what happened there?
4 guys ran 4 guys ran one play. 1 guy ran a different one.
Well,
that leads to a problem.
That'll do it.
That'll lead to a problem. And so that turned into a very poor possession. You don't get a shot.
2 things with them, though. You were only +2 from the free throw line. You only got there 14 times. As we've said a million times, that's not the winning formula. Also, a Kansas team that has not been shooting a lot of threes makes 10 threes on you. Those two things are enough to tip it the other way in conjunction with your 21 turnovers. Take a few of those back, a couple more points at the line, 1 or 2 less free throws from Kansas. You're right there. You gave it a heck of a run, but those are enough things that are out of your winning formula to keep you from winning a game like that against a really good team.
Yeah. So takeaway from that game and the takeaway from last night, and then we're going to jump into Iowa State in heavy detail here. But what did the world champion Mountaineers just do?
Showed you're an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah. What they did was, with the heat on them as far as their postseason chances go, they went out and they battled at KU, at Iowa State, pretty much the two hardest places to play on the road in the conference, I would think. West Virginia is up there as well. And they, to me, it was like this, I get this great sense of relief from those two performances that they still have it and they're not ready to say we're done yet. They could have flopped. I mean, boys, I'm telling you, and you've been there once. When that game starts at Kansas and they put the decibel meter up onto the scoreboard and it goes to 122 and it peaks up to 123, you go like, here we go. This is for real. And they just battled. I know they didn't finish it, but they battled. Then you have this huge concern. Okay, now quick turnaround. You could be despondent, both physically and mentally. You could be down. And they went in there, and there was every reason from A to Z to lose last night's game. Every single reason I've ever seen in the history of Mountaineer basketball. What do you want to go with? We could go back and say, well, we lost this guy to injury. We lost this guy to ejection. We lost this guy. I mean, technical fouls, the whole thing, every single reason. And for them to win that game, that ranks up there for me in one of the top 5 gutsiest performances I've ever seen. Ever. From a Mountaineer team, to me, that was a fight. And that was guys just hitting each other, and it's the last round, and guys are like out of juice, and they just keep slugging each other. That was one of the gutsiest efforts. And I'm trying not to be a prisoner of the moment, but I can't think of any other games where you just absolutely grinded one out in a most hostile environment.
You're saying that's Fraser Ali when Fraser didn't come out in the 15th.
Yes.
And Ali came out. Tony, I think you're right. It was, and I think that's one of the reasons why this team, you just can't give up on it, and I think the fans have embraced this team. You got some personalities on this team, and the fact that they gave you that kind of effort,
right, makes
this team very endearing to you, because like you said, this was the classic flat spot, right? And you would not have been shocked at all. In fact, I don't know what the line was, Brad, but
it was on the move. It started 3, went to 5, came back to 4.5 at tip. But there were people putting money on Iowa State for that reason. It was the definition of a good situational spot for Iowa State.
Sure.
Bad for West Virginia, expending all that mental energy, trying to get a win. You don't. You go into a tough place. And yes, Kansas is at the top of that list, but Hilton's right underneath it. When they get going at Hilton, as they did last night, that's usually lights out. That's usually when they put you to sleep, and this team didn't. It held its ground, took those punches, and then was able to get through that at the end.
That is, and we've talked about this for several weeks, that is the definition of thanks for having us.
Mm-hmm.
That is the definition. You're down 7, 8 minutes to go, place is crazy, you get a guy ejected, they walk him off the floor, left, right, left, right, left, right. It's hostile, it's hot, it's just everything. And you just go, no, not quitting, not quitting, not quitting. And then the sequences toward the end of the game with Emmett Matthews with the blocks and the free throws, I mean, off the chart. And so that is the classic thanks for having us.
That is the definition of thanks for having us. The other part of that, and again, there's a lot of different angles to take, and we'll get into some of these numbers here that we talked about last week, but just the fact that West Virginia won with that lineup it had out there at the end, Emmett, Toussaint, Wilson, Kedrian, and Kobe. I have analytics here that break down every lineup. That isn't in there. That isn't in there. Well, you just won a game against an NCAA tournament team that here's the other piece that you throw into that pot of things you were going against. They were desperate. I mean, West Virginia was a desperate team. Iowa State was desperate. Yeah. right? They'd lost 3 in a row. They'd lost, five
out of
of 6?
6.
2 of the last 3 at home, which they don't do. That was a team that had to get a win and couldn't get you.
They pounded Kansas there earlier this season, double-figure win. Held Kansas 58 points.
Taylor said Emmett was at the 5. Is that right?
Yeah, Emmett played 5 and the 4 guards.
I just
were
gave you
around
4 guards. Yeah, I mean, he was the only
like
guy
4
that
guards
wasn't a guard. Yeah.
Is it possible? I asked Brad this on my coffee clutch earlier. I mean, is it possible after 4 months this team is playing its best basketball right now?
Yes. I think they finally get it.
Finally
get
so
it.
It is.
They finally get it.
Be careful, everybody. Be careful.
No, I'm just saying as far as emotionally what they have to bring. I understand, but I'm just saying.
You're all giddy. You can't just pick it up and assign it to the. Just everybody.
Don't disagree, but I'm saying I think this will help. This. What are you doing over there? What are you doing?
Hold on. Let's address the win, then we'll move on. Just hold.
Is that what you say to the kids when they get all excited about something?
Just hold on. Hold on.
Well, I'm just saying.
I mean, you've got the guttiest win in program history. You've got them playing the best ball in history. We got nationals. I'm going to go get a little national championship odds here on the Mountaineers. Just
got them in the bracket with UCLA.
Great win. Let's address the win. Let's talk about the win. Then we'll move forward.
All right.
I mean,
3 guys
John taking on John Wooden's team next week. Just hold on.
3 guys before the game is brought to us by the Burdett Camping Center. Now listen to what
Can we not enjoy it?
That's what I'm trying to do. I'd like to enjoy the win from last night. You two are pressing ahead to multiple national championships here. I'd like to enjoy last night's win for a minute.
Burdett Camping Center is the only dealer in the state of West Virginia that offers a warranty forever. I mean, you think Hoppy's old at 68?
Team in the history of Mountaineer basketball.
You think Hoppy's old at 68 years old? Wouldn't matter if he bought that RV 70 years ago. Warranty still lasts longer than Hoppy. The warranty lasts forever. They're the only dealer in the state of West Virginia that offers that. It's burdettcamping.com, located in Winfield if you want to swing by, or visit them on the World Wide Web at burdettcamping.com, BURDETTE camping.com. 3 guys also brought to us by the fine folks at Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. What do? They partner with you, and they do it across the state of West Virginia, whether it's business equipment, i.e. printers or whatever hard stuff that you need, the actual materials, they got all that. But the magic is their managed IT and their managed phone systems, and their digital phone systems are competitively priced. They'll come in, give you a free price quote, whether you got 1 phone or 1,000 lines, whatever you need, they manage it all. Takes away from having to have that IT person on your payroll. They'll come in 24/7 remote monitoring and make sure that your data is safe and secure. Visit them at comaxwv.com.
Tony, not to take away from the win last night, but is there something going on with Iowa State? Something that we don't know? I mean, they've been on the slide.
No, I don't think there's any infighting or anything. I think they're offensively challenged.
Okay.
Gabe Kelscher, who had the big game last night, got 20. What did he get? 26. 26. He's their guy. Got into foul trouble there. Had to take him out in the first half. They played roulette, and he got 3 fouls. But the other guy that was scoring it a ton earlier in the season is Caleb Grill, and he went 0 for 2 last night. So they have limited scoring options.
Has Grill been? Has he been hurt?
He's got a back.
Yeah.
He's like, you have a back, he has a back, I have a back.
But he's got a back.
But in athletic terms, he's got a back. But they told me before the game that he was good. I'll tell you what, they got some dudes that are scary. Like that Jaron Holmes at the end of the second half.
He's good.
He just balls out.
So here's what's happened to them. Now, I know you were enjoying your pie, but had you listened to Sportsline, here was one of the things we talked about, where they have slipped. And part of their problem has been this. They came into the game last night number 2 in the country in opponent turnover percentage. So they were forcing a ton of turnovers. But if you had gone back to mid-January, from mid-January on, and this number, I didn't come up with this is from our friends at Cyclone Fanatic, they had fallen to like 46th in the country in turnover rate. So when they're not forcing a ton of turnovers against the opponent, they're offensively challenged enough. They can't score enough. They've got to force turnovers. So last night, West Virginia was teetering for a while. When Iowa State went on that run, West Virginia's turnover percentage got as high as 24%. Ultimately, West Virginia got that back in line. It fell to 16%, which allowed WV to win that game. So that's really what's happened. They're built around defense and forcing turnovers and getting points off turnovers. When they don't do that or you limit that offensively, you generally have a good shot. West Virginia did it here against them, didn't turn it over. For the most part last night, not bad. Iowa State got 17 points off turnover, but it was just enough or not quite enough to get Iowa State over the hump. So that's really what's happening with them.
Yeah, I think we had 14 against them here, 12 last night. Only had 4 in the first half. And to Brad's point, the 8 that we had in the second half, the majority of them came early in the second half when they built their run up and went ahead by 7 points. And then we became more judicious with the ball, and we end up with 12 turnovers. All right, so go ahead. Do the deep dive on this number-wise. And shocking, I tell you, free throws, once again, may have been a factor in the game.
Oh, really?
Usually are.
It was interesting. I've noticed a lot of talk on free throws last night on the ESPN broadcast.
Excuse me?
Which was interesting. They've picked up on that trend, which I thought was interesting.
Now, you don't think maybe one of the announcers might be listening to Three Guys?
Appreciate that. I didn't hear Three Guys mentioned last night, but appreciate them following the trend. So here's what it is. As it is every game with West Virginia, it's become now just a math equation. West Virginia has to get 22 to 23+% of its points from the free throw line. If it does, you're probably going to be right around the game. Last night, 26% of West Virginia's points came from the free throw line. Even more to the point, 43% of its points in the second half came from the free throw line.
How many? 43%.
43% of its points came from the free throw line. And there was our old formula we go back to. You made more than what they attempted. So it just continues to be the number one thing for this West Virginia team. Get to the line and then make free throws, because I think that's the other part of this story. If you go back and listen to this podcast from the Kansas State, Oklahoma State, those early Big 12 games, what we're talking about, you got to get a free throw doctor in there. Is there anybody down in Elkins that can drive over here and get the free throw? Who's the free throw doctor? Where's he at? Is he in Manhattan?
All due respect to Randolph County.
Go find somebody there. Can they fix the free throws are fixed, man. These guys are making free throws at a high clip.
And make free throws. I mean, you're going to miss some, but make free throws when the game is on the line.
So they have been. But when you're shooting at 80+% from the line, you're in great shape, and this team has done that multiple
83%
times.
last night? 80?
Yeah, 83%.
83%.
You know why they made free throws? Because the right guys were shooting them. When we were missing a lot, the wrong guys were shooting them. Last night, Emmett Matthews, 2 of 2. Kedrian, 4 of 6. Eric Stevenson, 3 of 5. Joe Toussaint, 8 of 8. There you go. The right guys at the line.
Also his first report on this podcast. But eventually he'd get the right guy shooting and it would come around. So free throws absolutely matter for this team. And then if you do that part of it, then you can go to part 2. And that's make sure you keep the other team off the line, because West Virginia fouls a ton. But that's where that game was going to come to last night. West Virginia and Iowa State are both in the bottom 30 teams at putting the other team on the line. So which of those was going to override? What overrode was what, Hop? Yeah. Iowa State put West Virginia on the line more. They made their free throws. That gave you a chance to do some of the other things that came through. So that was the biggest part of it. And the second part, you made some threes. That was a high 3-point attempt rate game. Second highest West Virginia's had, or highest it's had, since the game in Lubbock. Remember when it shot like 68% of its shots from 3? You did it again last night. You were getting a lot of threes. Right. Some of that was lineup based, as we just talked. You were a small lineup last night. You had to go to 3. So that mattered a ton too. So those were really your 3 things. You made a ton of free throws and you outscored them at the line. You made some threes last night, so shots were falling. And then number 3, you kept the turnovers within a manageable margin. You do those 3 things against Iowa State, you're going to win. It's just as simple as that.
Here is perhaps the most odd sequence of the entire season of what took place last night with just inside of 11 minutes to go. Trey Mitchell commits a flagrant foul on an elbow. You can decide whether it should have been flagrant to an ejection, the whole thing. He commits that. Subsequently, retaliation, quote unquote, by Jazz Kuntz, who was the recipient of said elbow because he kicked Trey Mitchell. And then Caleb Grill, who I mentioned a moment ago, he came in to traffic cop the situation. Each of those two guys were assessed technical fouls. So you've got the Trey Mitchell technical foul and ejection. So it leads to 2 free throws for Jazz Kuntz for Iowa State. He misses both. West Virginia then shoots its technical free throws. West Virginia makes both. You're +2. Because that was a dead ball technical situation, they go to the arrow. The arrow gives possession to West Virginia. West Virginia inbounds the ball, hits a 3. Okay. 5-0.
+5.
+5 off of that. Now, and this is the, got to say this really diplomatically, this is the unintended consequence of all of this. When Trey Mitchell was ejected, he was not having a good night. He was -13. West Virginia finished with just 2 players in the minus category. So both he and Jimmy Bell were minus last night. So that forced West Virginia to put, as Brad said, different lineups out there, and that actually worked. So in all of that craziness of a technical, an ejection, the hostility, the atmosphere, the mood, the whole thing, West Virginia netted out of that and perhaps won the game out of that. You win the game by 3 points. You outscored them 5-0 in that sequence.
Yeah. That's
pretty wild.
Yeah, that is.
Pretty wild how that played out. So
that's interesting.
2 hours and 33 minutes on that game, 45 fouls.
That's what you get for those two teams. I mentioned they're in the bottom 30 in terms of putting the other team on line. Let's also not, I said this on Hoppy's show today, let's not discount the value and the importance of having a former University of Iowa player on that team in that game. That's where huge. It doesn't mean the same thing to everybody, right? Everybody has different motivations for the teams you play in this league. I think Joe Toussaint dislikes Iowa State and wants to play against them. Right, he's been around that for 4 years, that rivalry, that fan base, taking that in as a member of the Iowa Hawkeyes. He's played 2 really good games against Iowa State.
Yes, you're right.
And he was into that and wanted that and played tremendously well last night.
That's a super good point. And we did not factor that into the equation, but that for him was a huge, huge game. Both of those games were. Mm-hmm. Both of those games.
He played like it.
Yeah. So 72-69, now the big question becomes, what does it all mean? Remember 4 games ago now, I said it's a best-of-5 series. You win 3, and you should be good to go for the NCAA tournament. Well, it's 2-2 with 1 to play. Saturday, Kansas State. We'll do that preview coming up on Thursday, but the table is set for you, and you got to be careful. Sellout crowd, everything going your way momentum-wise. Senior day. By the way, 6 seniors are going to walk Saturday.
Doesn't mean they'll all be leaving, though.
Correct. Iowa State had 8 walk last night, but they also expect guys to come back. Still guys. And West Virginia will walk 6, but there could be those guys. I mean, you've got Toussaint could come back. Trey Mitchell could come back. Who else could come back?
Anybody. Just come back until
someone else.
Come out.
Yeah, the guys that are definitely gone are Emmett Matthews.
Stevenson.
Oh, Jimmy Bell can come back.
Stevenson's gone, right?
Stevenson's gone. Stevenson's old. Steven, you're 68. He's 65.
65.
Real quick before we move totally on it, we should call out the effort by Emmett Matthews too. That was a heck of a job by him. Late, having to be the biggest guy on the floor for West Virginia, comes up with that big block, had that slice through the lane where he caught the ball, got the lay. I mean, he was fantastic late.
Yes, he was.
Difference maker, guarding the point at times. Right, he was out front. I mean, he was tremendous. Great gutty effort from Emmett Matthews as well.
Yeah, I'm super thrilled for him. I mean, that's obviously he comes back into this program, and that'll be one of the moments that he will cherish. Played 35. I mean, he was done. You think his gas tank was on like Hoppy that time? Like Hoppy's got to get to Go-Mart, right, because he's going to run out of gas. Like Matthews needed a Go-Mart fill-up. He needed to go. It was like in the huddles at the end. It was old school boxing. They put the ice bag on the back of his neck.
I saw that.
You see that?
You don't see that very often.
Like that's a 1956 move. Put the ice bag on.
Customato over there with the bag. I mean, I got the bag over here. Cut his eye. Get the bag.
Angelo Dundee and Customato over there.
Who's got the spit bucket over here?
Yeah. Put that cold silver thing.
And
on his helmet.
We would be.
Yeah.
We would be at fault if we also did not bring up the fact. Last night was 1,345 games that Bob Huggins coached. 1,345 games. And he did something in the game that he had never done before in his history of coaching. Only 5 guys have coached more games than Hugs. And he did something he had never done ever. Late in the game, West Virginia's got to inbound the ball. World champion Mountaineers come out, go 5 guys behind the baseline like a football play. Keaty's the quarterback, 2 to his right, 2 to his left. Everyone breaks. You inbound the ball. You get the exact guy that you want to shoot the free throws, and it worked twice. That was masterful.
So it's a tremendous play, and starting here tomorrow and this week, we have the Mountain East Conference tournament going on up in Wheeling.
Up there in Wheeling.
Gentleman by the name of Chris Richardson.
Wheeling
Chris
coach.
Richardson, Wheeling head coach, broke that out last year against West Liberty's pressure. And it's the explanation that was given makes a ton of sense, and it's actually surprising you don't do it more. Normally in those situations, you have the inbounder and everybody else is out, and what are you doing? Everybody's coming to the ball. So what are you doing to the court? You're compressing the court. Well, who's that help? The defense. This reverses that. You're sending people away from the baseline, which is forcing the defense to cover more court, and you can always stop and cut back on them, but they've got to prevent the fly pattern. Maybe a post. I'll throw a couple posts. You got one going vert. You got 2 vert, couple posts, and you got to come back. So you hear the explanation of why coaches pull that, and you're like, well, why don't you do it more? That's pretty smart. But Chris, the first time I saw it was Chris last year implemented that against West Liberty in the MEC tournament. Makes a ton of sense.
Baylor's used it. Coach Spiker over there at Drexel Dragons, he uses it. It's fantastic.
So Hugs got that from Chris Richardson?
Well, Hugs said Toussaint, I got to find out. Hugs said Joe Toussaint, said, hey, let's do this. They had to have repped that.
Yeah, they have.
Sure. I mean, it wasn't like last night, hey, let's go ahead, and you just can't do it that way. They had to have repped it, but they kept it in their pocket. And they used it right at the right time.
Football. Just call it football is the inbounds play.
And they were forced into man coverage.
Yeah, they were.
Screen him a little bit.
Couldn't zone.
Loss of safety. Safety got beat deep.
Joe Toussaint ran a skinny post. 72.
Had the running back out in the flat. Had the outlet valve in the flat there if you needed it.
72-69.
The offensive line.
It's a final score.
Great play.
Weather's warming up. It's going to be nice here tomorrow. I've got flowers budding at home.
Yeah. There's a lot of concern actually about
what's
happening.
What's going on? Why?
Well, because it isn't spring, and if you get a freeze here, which we're inevitably going to get, what happens to all those, early flowers that are coming up in buds?
Yeah,
buds on fruit trees. I mean, there's a legitimate concern about what could happen.
Well, I'll say this: regardless of
insects,
huh?
No, now you're getting into possibly 2 breeding seasons of insects and a lot of issues here.
Well, it makes the bugs happy.
What's happening?
Just saying. I mean,
Just move on. Here at this moment, go to whatever you were going to read next. Don't think, don't ad lib. I encourage you to just go ahead and read the liner that's right in front of you.
All I was going to say is
I would just read it.
All I was going to say is we're getting closer toward warm season, and that means it's time to get out in the water. And Lou Wendell Marine Sales happens to be the single largest pontoon dealer in all of West Virginia, and they have stood the test of time. Over 4 decades, they have been in service to you. Located in St. Albans, home of the world champion Red Dragons, recognized as the state of West Virginia's experts in pontoon boating, happen to be biggest dealer in the state. They feature the Avalon pontoon boats, considered the best in the market, and they're made 100% right here in America, in Michigan.
I'm sorry. You should maybe get a ride on a pontoon over to the Capitol tomorrow. It's going to be beautiful.
A little chilly, though, I think.
To be on the canal, still a little
you
chilly.
can do that.
I go a little run along the canal.
I like that.
Jogging
Just
on
get
the
a boat.
canal.
You're not flying. You're just going on a nice little pontoon, just going nice and smooth. Drive you right up. You hop out. You go up steps. You go in.
I haven't seen any boats except a big tugboat pushing a barge on the canal yet.
Understood. Doesn't mean you can't be the first. It's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow. Sun's out.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be close to Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. If you've been thinking about the pontoon, check out LouWendellMarineSales.com.
Great idea.
So, Hoppy, you run from where you take off from the Starbucks there on Canal Boulevard and go up to the Capitol. Is that what your run is?
Yeah, or last week I ran the other way. ran, which would have been
which
west.
way?
You went the other way.
Yeah, what do you
West.
do there?
Okay, there's the trail goes west.
Well, I know it goes west, but where do you end up there?
I don't know. I didn't get to the end. I just ran a while and came back. But you know, the better
We always
way
like
is
to go towards the Capitol.
Tony
and I did.
toward the yeah,
We
toward
do
the
that. We're Capitol walkers.
Yeah.
We go down to the Capitol.
Yeah,
Cross, just be careful crossing over the boulevard there.
Yeah.
Gotta
Speaking
pick your
of
spot.
which,
You
I
gotta-
forgot
you
it
gotta
was
be ready to go.
two-way.
Yeah, you gotta be ready to go.
I got in the middle and I
Forgot to get head on a swivel.
did not have a head on a swivel.
Just be careful of the hamstring there, because sometimes you got to do a quick burst to get across there. You don't want the hamstring.
You do across the boulevard. You
You got to go.
That's 4 lanes. Time to rock and roll. Speaking of rock and roll, hit it. Just thought of something. This song allows you to do the Pat White pit game growl. Oh, boy. Okay, 3 guys before the game into our textual healing. Ready? Here we go. 3 guys. Billy Bob here, located in Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. Just stopped in for some gas, and while I was waiting, I saw this. Got to me thinking about the show. There it is. Little pencil sharpener there. For the record,
I wonder why it's there.
That's a good one.
well, because a guy got to sharpen a pencil. I'm
That's
from Putnam
beautiful.
County, but I currently reside in Arizona. No land back home yet, other than my place in Buffalo, but hopefully soon. Thanks for the outstanding product.
Strong
That's
text.
excellent.
Strong text.
So that is it.
Very
Now,
good.
right there, that is a pencil sharpener with all options included. Like
Yep.
that's like buying the Ford F-150 totally maxed out. He's got the cover on the thing.
Different
However,
size pencil.
here's the problem.
See, it's got the dial.
Yeah, got the dial. Yeah,
Here's
nice.
the problem with that
What?
pencil sharpener.
What?
The handle.
You got to go left hand to crank.
What do you mean?
You
I
got to
know.
go left hand in to crank it. That's not a conventional. If you're a right-handed person, that's off.
What if you stand on the other far side?
There is no far side. That's a wall there.
Oh, that's
yeah,
a
I don't
wall?
think you can get
Yeah.
around the other side.
That's
there.
a bad placement.
No, I think
They
that's
should
a
have brought
walkway there.
No, they should have brought that up forward so you could go either hand. Right, Brad?
Well, I think you got a point there.
Thank you. Texter. Hello. Scope spreads part-time summer help. I think that was you, Hoppy. Here we go. Texting to share a story from the 2020 COVID season. When they first announced that they would be selling those placards to put in the seats since there were no fans, I immediately thought it would be awesome to buy one with a picture of my dog, Avalanche. My wife told me it was a waste of money and not to do so, of course. I pulled the trigger anyway. A couple of weeks later, during halftime of the Iowa State game, I'm doing the dishes, got a bunch of texts from friends and pictures of Avalanche on ESPN. There he is. See, Hoff? Look at him. There's Avalanche. Made my night, and once I showed my wife, she finally agreed it was $65 well spent. Sadly, Avalanche passed away a few weeks ago, but the upcoming Iowa State game reminded me of this awesome memory and the fact of all Mountaineer Nation got to meet him that one time on national TV. I miss my boy every day,
National TV.
but I'm thankful for all of the joys and the smiles that he brought to me while he was with us. Hopefully these attached pictures can bring a few smiles to the 3 guys in Mountaineer Nation as well. Thanks for all you do. A man from Wheeling, not Barrackville. So there he is, and there's the actual dog. How cute was that doggy?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great picture there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Hi, 3 guys. Just heard P1 Jason's custom Chick-fil-A order from episode 444. Got me wondering whether each of you mostly go with a standard food order or do you customize? Personally, I almost always order something off of the menu with no changes. I find there are fewer mistakes that way, unlike my fiance who customizes almost everything and gets far more incorrect orders than I do. Just my personal observation, signed by JD in the Southern Coalfields. I very rarely do anything off the menu. I agree totally with you, JD. Just like Hug says, show me what you can do. Don't show me what you can't do. You just put a standard in. You're going to get the standard. They get all bummed out back in the line when you start making modifications. Normally doesn't end well.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. I don't get fancy.
Scopes, Brad, Hoppy, Cube. This is directed to 2 guys because Hoppy was rubbing shoulders with the elite and not paying attention to his true fans.
Cheap shot.
Fair point.
It is. As I am older than the 2 guys, I do not feel bad about saying this. You guys aren't getting old, and I believe you have fallen behind. Oh, you guys are getting old, and I believe you're falling behind on lingo. I think that crushing it is falling out of favor with the hip crowd and was never used by those of us born before 1990.
Fair point.
At last, you're efforting, getting the youngins interested, and hope efforting makes the Urban Dictionary before you retire or episode 800. There you go.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. That's groovy. Thanks. Swell that you sent that to us. In addition to eating West Virginia and a road trip to Myrtle Beach, you may consider a 3-guys cruise. You can invite West Virginia legends, Nate Adrian, Coach Neal, and Major Harris. It's what all the cool celebrities do, just saying. So he wants us to take a cruise on a pontoon boat, celebrity cruise. Seriously, dude. You imagine that? Summer night, down the Kanawha River, get a pontoon, and we take off, and we have a nighttime 3-guys cruise.
It'd be awesome.
Just have Neal and tell stories.
Hey, what about one of them stern wheelers? We probably get one of them stern wheelers down there.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
Do a nighttime. Hey, dude, there's an idea. Seriously, that'd be a great summer. A 3-guys event on a stern wheeler. We get on the stern wheeler, have a big time, do a little outside show, and then we take off down the river.
I see a spark in your eye. Almost like when the first Kirchvale idea came up.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Remember Gary Mertens' wedding?
Yeah, it was on a stern wheel.
It was on a stern wheel. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Dear time zone protectors, this is prior to Hell Weekend, so I'm hoping that as this is read, the sea has parted and certain rumored hot places have frozen over, and we are reposed for a celebratory senior night, if that means anything anymore, with at least one road W. So he got what he wanted. If not, do our boys have to win the whole dang tournament to get a dance invite? Chris from Marietta. My question, hopefully, is moot. P.S. I'll be listening to the Kansas game on my buddy's land in Wyoming County where the deer stands outnumber the dilapidated structures.
I love the land.
Oh, here's a heater. I'm just trying to listen to my favorite podcast while I'm preparing tax returns, and Tony hits me with a heater. I haven't even finished my first cup of coffee, and my profession is under attack. This war against CPAs and accountants must stop. Signed by Nathan Chesterfield, a CPA.
I don't disagree, Nathan. Have you been here when he's attacked? He attacked insurance agents a few shows ago.
Yes.
He's gone after the accounting industry now.
Reason?
Because they're surprised every year that they're busy this time of the year. They ever talk to a tax accountant this time of year? Holy hell, I'm just telling you. I'm thinking like, is that something new? Like, well, hey, like that would be like you, Hoppy, going like,
oh, it's election night. I can't believe I'm busy.
Holy heck, I'm busy. It's election night. I never thought of. It's what you do. Do what you do.
Well, I think their point is that not everybody says, oh, it's January 30th. I just got my W-2. I'll run down to the accountant. Everybody waits like, I know it's April 6th.
Well, I would just say this to all the CPAs out there.
God. Just go to the next text.
Tony comes in like this. Here's all my stuff.
On April 12th.
No, we're almost done.
Oh.
We're almost done with ours this year.
Here's the thing, man.
What do you mean?
This is my thing on CPAs. Love them.
Oh, geez.
Great people. I know a lot of them.
Don't try.
Know a lot of them, and they're wonderful people. I was just simply saying, why are they surprised every year when they're busy this time of year? Yes.
Here's what I'm saying. I know we're not getting to episode 800, but can you just chill out attacking professions before we end up with no sponsors? Like, just chill out.
Yeah. No, really. Actually, you're going to find out this has endeared us to the CPA community. Your stats, your numbers, this is endearing us to the community. They love numbers. Winnie in Winfield, probably not real name. I like this pontoon boat show idea. This is finally a transportation for the Madagascar show. Wants to take us to a pontoon to Madagascar.
Long trip.
Start the show in Myrtle Beach. Afterwards, you can send off the cross to the Atlantic, meet up to the Madagascarian Mountaineer. From there, you go a couple options. You can travel up the Suez Canal, visit your old pal Nate in Italy, or since you already are on that side of the globe, you can go visit Tony's punting pals in Australia. Most important part of the trip, though, will be to make sure the show can be broadcast while you're crossing the globe. Please make sure Hoppy gets lots of shade and water. He's getting up there, and a trip like this could be his last. Sorry for the long text.
That was pretty well done.
Tony, I listen every week to you. Oh, this is a good one. This is good. Tony, I listen every week to you hammering fans that feel there is a certain amount of prejudice by officials. That it is not true, pointing out free throws, which is one part of the calls. Perhaps you could share with the listeners about Bob Huggins' thoughts from his radio show. He not only thought there is a prejudice, but has sent in evidence to support this to the league. You start saying how many more free throws we shoot compared to the rest of the league. That is because most of our games usually have around 50 fouls called a game, and other league games don't have usually half that many. Doing the math, each team plays us twice, having that many fouls called, and we have 18 league games with that many fouls called, thus the disparity. Seriously?
Huh?
Is that what you're going to come with? Is that what you're going to come with? Let's see. I have numbers, and you're going to go with because Huggs said there's a prejudice.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that a head basketball coach is alleging that they're not getting calls from the officials? It's amazing. It's like when you watch the game where I know there's no sympathy, and maybe there shouldn't be for officials, but I mean, it is constant from regardless, right? Just constant. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about everybody.
It's the theater of the game.
Working them.
It's the theater of the game. That's what makes college basketball unlike any other sport. Like NBA guys don't do that. They're not allowed to do that. NBA guys don't.
Very rarely.
Very, very rarely. Very rarely. College basketball. That's the second act of the theater that's going on. You got the game, and then you got the coaches and the officials.
You know what I do like is sometimes when there's a kerfuffle and the official goes over, looks at the coach, Brad, and gives him an explanation. The coach goes, walks back.
Yeah.
All right. I got
So to the texter there, here's the dealio, man.
What?
The way that West Virginia plays, the style that West Virginia plays, is going to induce more fouls. Yes, certainly more when they were in the Press Virginia era. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. My point to all of this is this great conspiracy theory that people have it in for West Virginia is just not true. That's my only thought. That's my only point. Your perceptions that you're being attacked or we're being unfairly treated is the same general theory that every single team believes. Okay? There is no conspiracy. It's the style that we play induces more fouls to be called. Plain and simple. I just get tired of people who love to jump in to this woe is me conspiracy. Oh, someone's out to get us. Boogeyman's out to get us. We're getting screwed. The man's out. Just stop. Just stop. Texter. 3 guys. This morning, my wife was doing the passive-aggressive thing with me, hinting that somehow that I wasn't pulling my weight around the house.
Uh-oh.
I decided to man up. So for the first time, I said, I'm efforting. She said, what'd you say? I said, I'm efforting. You haven't heard that before? She said, yeah, I heard it before. I've heard it from suboptimal women in yoga class. Signed by Mo in Morgan County. To the sharpshooter Scopes, better Brad, and the hoppiest of Hoppy, if he's there. I'm one of the lucky few in the valley that made it to the tap to try Kercheval. Simply amazing. I had a glass there, took a growler home. Waitress said it was selling better than the buckwheat cakes down in the rotunda. I've attached 3 pictures to my text and have full faith in Tyler Pocahontas that he has an effort to get these onto the screen. Thanks, guys, for all you do. By the way, I have a little property in Nicholas County.
Of course.
There he is.
Excellent.
Nice.
Excellent.
It's a nice cold.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan.
Yes,
Due to time constraints, we were only able to use 1 picture.
Can I show you another Kercheval picture?
Yeah.
Or you want to wait?
No, sure, go ahead.
Show,
Sure birthday.
Can you, there.
There's your brother.
That's Nick and Sherry.
Oh, sure.
Nick and his wife.
Now, they at the
Sherry.
Bavarian
Yeah,
Inn
at the
there?
Bavarian.
Looks nice there at the Bavarian.
Oh, that's a
It's
really
a very,
nice place.
I've never been there.
New location.
Very nice place. Wanted to demonstrate that the Kercheval has made it to the Eastern Panhandle.
Yes.
It's terrific.
Shepherdstown.
Absolutely terrific. Well, I got another one coming up later there. Texter, hey, 3 guys, maybe 2. Since previous shows, you have shown some concern over the NCAA rules regarding NIL. I thought you would find solace in that Sports Illustrated article discussing the first NIL violation regarding those twins. Yeah, here we see that last week there.
Cavender twins.
Cavender twins,
Yeah.
They busted Miami. And I mean,
For an illegal dinner.
yeah.
I mean, I saw that.
I got NIL for
For a
you.
dinner.
Brad, this is in your wheelhouse. I saw that, and I said, okay, an NIL bust. And I read it, and I thought, that's
Right.
what you're going to get in trouble for?
That's the whole point.
That's
it?
it?
Right. Next.
I got an NIL story for you. You know, I was over there at Kansas on Saturday.
Sure.
Made some relationships through the years. Yeah. So I was talking to an old boy. He's pretty wired into the Kansas basketball scene, talking NIL.
Oh.
Okay, let's just say, without using any names, let's just say there might be a player on the Kansas team that's probably a one-and-done player. Might be in his first year.
Yeah.
How much NIL you think he's making?
1.
Close.
9.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
8.
that's above? Isn't that above the rookie minimum at the NBA?
Oh, yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I am interested. We won't dwell on this. We've got all summer to talk about this, but this popped up again on Sunday. Iowa hosted game day, women's basketball game day. They were number 6 in the country, taking on number 2 Indiana. Awesome, fun game. Caitlin Clark plays for Iowa, best women's player in the country. She's outstanding, fun to watch. Won the game on a last-second shot. She came out the other day. They were asking her about. She's got not only 1 more year of eligibility, she conceivably has 2 if she takes a COVID year. And they asked her about leaving versus coming back, and she said, "I'm not going to take a pay cut to go to the WNBA."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we saw that with Oscar last year. I just wonder, as this goes on and you start to look down the road and you're West Virginia and people wonder, how do you fit in this world? I think there's a chance where you can keep guys an extra year rather than, as we've talked, trying to jump in there. You can keep some of these stars. If you hit on a quarterback that's really good, but maybe not with the pro credentials, we've seen how hard it is to make the show, right? Will Greer's still looking for playing time at the NFL level. So I think there's a chance. That's when this thing starts to settle in. I think that's where NIL can help certain schools like West Virginia, and it won't just be the Kansases of the world that benefit from that.
I think it's a really good point.
Yeah.
Really good point. Absolutely. Her brother, by the way, is the holder on kicks for Iowa State.
Caitlin Clark's brother?
Yeah.
West Des Moines. Went to the wrong high school there, she did. But she's from West Des Moines.
By the way, you
wrong high school.
You familiar with Nevada, Iowa?
Yes.
Yeah, I met up with a guy.
Did you say it wrong when you first met him, or did he make sure
he told
you said
me,
it correctly?
He says it's spelled like Nevada, but
that's hurricane here.
Yeah, but the A is long.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. Nevada. Yeah, just about 8 miles away from Ames.
Yeah. Did you meet anybody from Bondurant?
No, but I had a beer from Bondurant. They've got a craft beer place there. It was tremendous. I was sitting next to Eric. He was from Nevada. He came in 22 years, Federal Express driver, and now working at a metal fabrication plant doing the accounting for them.
Adele, meeting me from Adele.
Tell you what, he tells
Southeast Polk.
I mean, he was awesome. He was awesome. So I started talking to him. He said, "I'm a big Nebraska fan." I give him my Nebraska story. He said, I said, we were there in 80. I said, we were there 83. I was a student at Syracuse. They beat us 63-7.
That happened a lot back then.
He gives me the Nebraska roster. I wish you were so next to me. He said,
did he say it?
He said
it.
Well, that team, he said, we had Mark Trainowitz. He goes, Dean Steinkühler.
Did you say it?
I said, oh, I wish you would.
Did you say it?
No, I mean, I just giggled inside myself.
I wish you would have said it to him.
Dean Steinkühler.
Turner Gill.
Yeah, he was.
Mike Rozier.
Irvin Fryer.
They have players?
Oof. Texter, I know you guys like West Virginia sponsors. You are now YouTube stars. Grecian Formula may be interested, as it seems Gray seems to be sneaking through. Since Hoppy's getting follically challenged, he'll have to stay with beer and Slim Jims. By the way, my wife, who does not watch, just said, Hoppy's not there again? And she walked by. Irvin Morgantown.
Okay, here's why I haven't been here. I've been at the state capitol a couple days a week for the legislative session. Show the picture of Billy Joe Payton, Taylor.
Oh.
So Billy Joe Payton, retired professor.
Where did he teach?
Where I think West Virginia State,
okay.
I think. And came by, we had a nice conversation. Number of years ago, he and his wife hiked up Mount Kilimanjaro.
Oh, my goodness.
Which, of course, is in Tanzania. And he said when he had his He's a West Virginia fan. When he got to the top, he had his West Virginia swag on, and there were some Tanzanians there who were porters, and they broke into country roads.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
my goodness. Crazy. Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
That was at the AARP broadcast location.
Yeah, I could tell that. Good effort in there. Texter, I currently live in Myrtle Beach and could tell you that you'd have no problem holding an event down here. However, after much consideration and attending the Hoppy Kirchevale event, I've decided to enter the transfer portal. I'm moving back to Morgantown.
Well, there we go.
Any place that doesn't have Kirchevale is a place I don't want to live. I hope Hoppy appreciates how his beer is reversing the population decline in West Virginia. I love the show. Logan and Myrtle Beach, soon to be in Morgantown.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Beer,
Terrific.
Beer brings you home.
Texter, hey, you three whatchamacallits. Chris from Locust Grove, Virginia here, an alum, fan, longtime listener. I've always subscribed to the adage, you are what your record says you are, but this team feels different. I haven't thrown in the towel yet. I feel we could shock the world with a conference tourney run on a neutral court. What do you guys say?
I say you got a shot, man. I think that the way they've played the last couple of games, we'll see what happens Saturday, that this conference, I mean, we've said it over and over again, that the level of competition you have played game in and game out, no freebies, should have you prepped for winning a first-round game, whoever you're playing. With me?
Conference tournament's going to be fun.
Yeah, really good.
I mean, this is talk about some battles.
Iowa State's worried they're going to fall into the 7th spot and have to play Wednesday, which is amazing. Kind of tells you about your conference tournament.
I'd like to go. I can't. I'd like to go out.
No,
there
you
for that.
can, but you don't. You could. You don't have to go down to the legislature every week. You could
Well,
go
but
to
I
the
mean,
conference.
it's the same time as like the girls' tournament or the. I
Oh,
gotta be
yeah, I
in
guess it
Charleston
is,
for
isn't
that.
it?
I'd love to go. Wouldn't you love to go to that?
Yes.
It's a great event. Hey, three guys. By the way, our boy Luke Darnell is going to be representing West Virginia University in the barbecue cook-off down there.
Good. He'll line up, win it.
Cook's right in front of the building there at the T-Mobile Center. Hey, three fellows. I just want to say this team has it. If this was a team that could have played together for 2, maybe 3 years, we'd be talking about maybe one of the best teams Hugs has had. I also want to say our women's team is tough and gritty. I was at the game Saturday. They didn't give up against K-State. Very physical. Also, can we not mention the mythical, not mythical winged creature that Tony can't help but talk about? Every time he says his name, we lose the next game.
I've been
Take
trying
care.
to tell y'all. Stop
Steven
saying it.
from Morgantown. Texter.
I was at the women's game Saturday as well. K-State coach had one of the all-time great, I'm going to get a technical here, made it almost to the lane. it was good. Like, what's he doing?
You know, they've put
Instant.
they've put together a pretty good season.
They have.
Pretty good. Wow. Ooh,
Pretty good first year.
great job.
Very good first year.
Yeah.
What was the coach upset about, Brad? Was it?
Just physicality. Didn't think the calls were going his way. Didn't think the officiating. Thought it was slamming against Kansas State.
Wasn't getting calls.
Wanted to get their attention.
Well, you know, they never. What team was it?
K-State.
They never get the calls. You know that.
Yeah.
Well known across the league. They get screwed. Officials are out to get them. He was almost to the lane.
How far did he get?
He was like a step away from the lane.
Yeah.
They get him?
Yeah. Oh, they got him.
They
Yeah.
dinged
I
him
mean,
up.
sure, he's out there lining up for the free throw. One of his girls out. I'll take this spot.
Was
Referee looked over.
What was it? A demonstrative tee or was it just a?
He was
run-of-the-mill
hot.
tee?
No, he was hot. I can't remember what the official did because I was trying to watch his reaction.
Women's officials got nicer uniforms, the tops that the officials wear better than the men. I like that look.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I like that. It's a little Euro. It's a little European, little
Yeah, he was hot. I thought the officials were doing a fine job at that point.
Texter. Kevin and Moon Township. Since there was a question about free throw shooting by West Virginia and its opponents, along with what needed to happen in Kansas in order to get both to the line and keep them off, I thought I'd do some research about officials who have been working West Virginia games in Lawrence.
Here we go. Excellent.
Regarding the officiating at Allen Fieldhouse, my memory's not what it used to be. I seem to remember John Higgins doing almost every West Virginia game played there since we joined. I proved myself very wrong. He's in fact only officiated twice, 16 and 18. That's tied for third most along with Kip Kissinger, Terry Oglesby, and Terry Weimer. Darren George now has 2 after Saturday. Other notables who did 1 game each were Joe DeRosa, Ray Natili, Bert Smith. Keith Kimball worked 4 of those games, but Doug Sermons takes the cake, 6 total, including 3 in a row from 2020 through 2022. Thanks, as always, for making the show week after week. I hope we're still around for number 800. Kevin in Moon Township, forever in Morgantown and Kaiser in my heart.
Good job, Kevin.
Texter.
Went to the numbers, Hoppy.
Yeah.
Didn't go with
Good
perception,
research.
went to the numbers.
Yeah.
Dear 3 guys, thank you.
And found out that what the facts did not back up what he thought was the case.
Well
which-
done.
Shocking. I'm stunned by this. I'm stunned by it.
Shocked, I
Sometimes
tell you.
people embrace a perception that isn't the reality.
Happens.
Texter. Dear 3 guys, thank you for reading my text about my crazy gambling theory on last week's show. It made my weekend. However, upon informing my wife of my impending fame, I can only describe what I experienced as the hardest eye roll I've ever received. The result reverberated so harshly our house shook. Oh, well, I guess some people just don't get it. Anyway, I'm bringing my kids to town for the K-State game. I can't wait. I might even try to find the elusive Kurt Chevelle. Let's go Mountaineers. Professor Vinny in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, Chicago.
Met a 3 guys listener, viewer during a walk in the Botanic Garden.
Excuse me?
What?
Was hiking in the Botanic Garden.
Here in Morgantown.
Yeah, Morgantown. Botanic Garden.
Yeah.
Okay. So the wife and I were hiking, just past a gentleman, and he just said, 3 guys. Adam Anderson, Tony, his job is, I don't have a picture, but we had a nice chat. His job, he says he's been listening to you since he was a kid. They'd sit in his dad's car and listen to Sportsline to listen to you. So your name came up. And he said he's a big Mountaineer fan and that he is in the land purchasing business for solar and wind energy.
Wow, that's interesting.
Big 3 guys listener.
So he doesn't buy small half-acre lots. He needs a little land when you buy windmills.
He is in the land business, though.
Yeah.
That is kind of turning into a universal greeting, though.
It is, yeah. 3 guys.
Yeah, just the 3 guys.
Maybe not sure who I was.
Of
Like-
which 3 guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 guys.
Yeah, very good.
Well, speaking of that, I'm happy to once again mend a fence that had been broken.
Did you break it?
Yeah.
You broke it, then mended it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Usually work.
Remember Evan in Iowa?
Yeah.
Sure.
He was writing the poems, and I just
Right.
said,
You
hey,
crushed
well,
him, said
dissed
the
him.
poems weren't any good, don't write us anymore.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, I got to see him last night at the game. He lives in Iowa.
Sure.
So he
That's
made
why
the drive
Evan in
over.
Iowa.
Had a Cyclone fan with him. He was dressed in West Virginia stuff, and the Iowa State fan had Iowa State stuff on. But I was able to get him 2 tickets and behind the Mountaineer bench.
Really?
Yeah. And I forgot, he's a pastor.
Uh-huh.
So I said, you may hear some words that you probably wouldn't find during a sermon. So just be on alert. I told him before the game.
I will give you some credit. You're one of the all-time elite. Absolutely go off without thinking and crush somebody or something, and then come back strong on the mending of the fence.
Absolutely.
Like you don't just
True.
kind of come back mending the fence. Like you go above and beyond to mend the fence.
Well, he wanted to make a peace offering. Like, hey, I'll bring it. I said, dude,
Did you say you don't need to? It's my fault?
No, I didn't take any blame. Here's the reality. I don't have any problem with the guy. I got no problem with the guy. His poem wasn't that good, but I got no problem with the guy. I still say that to his face. Hey, dude, I'm not reading your poems. Not that good, but I'll get you tickets. You want tickets? I got you. Take care of.
But don't expect me to like your poem.
Yeah. So, that's fun. I
did
I
fix
took care of Australia.
I know.
I took care of this in Iowa.
Yeah.
There was one other one I fixed. Don't care.
But also, I think you do. You make it right, but then to you, it's also,
Done.
I'm done. I broke it. I fixed it. I'm over it.
That's a pretty good point.
True?
100%. Hey, if you've been bummed out by something I did, I'm gonna fix it now. Done.
That's fair.
See ya.
That's fair. Nailed it.
You did nail that.
We've been around too long.
Yeah.
Very Italian, isn't it? Very Italian. Hello, 2 or 3 guys. The
I'm gonna make it right.
Hmm.
And then?
Exactly. Everything's good. The continuing time zone saga is beyond ridiculous. When it was said that the Big 12 was efforting by asking the other conferences what they do, I almost choked on my pepperoni roll.
I did too.
What now? What happened?
The league sent back a thing and said they polled the other Power Fives to see what they did on time zones.
Was that necessary? Do we have an Eastern time zone school in the league? Then you don't need it. I don't care what the Pac-12 is doing.
Anyway, please.
Poll?
In 2007, Charlie writes, I worked with a television provider, name withheld pending NIL, and I took it upon myself to send out a weekly schedule of all of the FBS football being played. The only resource I could find, which I had all the games listed, was in Central Time. So 16 years ago, with limited spreadsheet knowledge, I was able to convert games listed in Central to the other 3 time zones for weekly distribution. This process took a little less than 30 minutes from my Tuesday morning. I am completely baffled that an organization the size of the Big 12 could not figure this one out in over a decade, and now they're having to reach out to ask what to do. Unbelievable. Signed, Charlie in Princeton.
Thank you, Charlie.
Why don't you poll the other leagues and see what teams you should bring in?
Commissioner was there last night.
Oh, I'm sorry I said that then.
No, it's fine. I didn't get
I mean,
a chance.
seriously, but that you all carry that ball, but I don't understand either why. It is not.
It's not hard. You have an Eastern time zone school in the league. Put the time in Eastern time. I mean, move on. Next.
You know, it still bums me out.
I'm just telling you, too. You think I'm bummed out now? I'm going to be more bummed out when those new schools come in, haven't earned their stripes, haven't been around the league, been messing around in other leagues. They come into this league, and suddenly Mountain Time is going to be listed for BYU.
Here's what bums me out.
Should be withheld for a minimum of a decade.
Here's what bums me out.
You translate yourselves, BYU fans.
So on the weekly release for women's basketball, West Virginia plays Oklahoma State tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So it says Oklahoma State at West Virginia, and then it says 6 p.m. Central / 7 p.m. Eastern. Why in the hell
it does?
Why in the hell doesn't it say 7 p.m. Eastern / 6 p.m. Central?
That's what it should say.
It's played in the East.
Right.
This keeps making me more and more angry.
Welcome aboard.
Texter.
I'm telling you, the first time that Mountain Time hops up there, Kercheval.
This signed by the bearded ear.
BYU,
A Kansas game limerick. This was before last night. We are 1-2 in our best of 5 series. That last possession raises many queries. In 24 seconds, only 2 players touched the ball, and our best shooter wasn't involved at all. I'm sure the fan base has some conspiracy theories. Signed by the bearded ear.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Texter. Doug in Bridgeport. Basically, he says, obviously, Ken Palm has taken a huge role in now people charting how teams are being ranked. And his question comes down to this. Would you agree with me? If this was 30 years ago, before the acceptance of the hidden numbers to rank teams, our 17-13 mark would not stand a chance to make the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Correct.
It's a great point, Doug, that this has brought some legitimization to the rankings.
Welcome aboard.
Texter. Hello, 3 guys. In light of the standards of being a dedicated listener, Matt from Louisville via Beckley, part owner of 150 acres in Mason County.
Wow, nice.
We do have a cabin, and there are plenty of old structures on the property. The best addition was when we went up one time and someone got their 2-wheel drive Ford Ranger stuck on a big rock in one of the food plots. I digress. I just wanted to say this podcast truly one of the best. Hope it continues way past 800. If y'all ever find yourselves in Louisville, feel free to come by Country Roads Bar and Grill, also known as the Garage. We smoke meat and serve cold drinks for games. There you go. There it is. There's a picture.
Oh,
I don't think there's anything wrong with smoking meats. That's always a good thing.
Does he own this, work there, or just
what is that?
frequents it? Do we know that? Doesn't say.
He says, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he owns it or whatever.
Wait a minute, that's a bar, right?
Yeah, it's a bar.
Okay,
Bar restaurant.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
This next thing here has taken off, and that we received multiple texts saying the essence of this. Breaking news, Merriam-Webster has updated their dictionary of their definition of thanks for having us. Here's another one. Underdog victory, hostile crowd, 3-hour game, major comeback, best player ejected.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
And then we got this video. Some Mountaineer fan made their way out onto the court after last night's game. Look at this. This is what they sent us. Walking on the court there.
Yeah.
Right across the mid-court logo.
Yes.
And they sent this thing and it said, thanks for having us.
That's well done. That's how you do it. Been there, done that.
Just walk across the court.
Yeah.
Texter.
I was great at Pitt. I was walking at Peterson Event Center. I got to see it. Did it Poly Pavilion.
Drag your heel over the logo.
Did it
Texter.
multiple places. Just good. Thanks for having us.
I'm typing this text following the thrilling, much-needed upset over Iowa State, 11:47 p.m. Eastern. I know that the Kansas loss was heartbreaking, but from what I just witnessed, it seemed to have little impact on the hearts of this team. This may be a wild assessment, but I believe that West Virginia just played its 2 best consecutive games they've played in over the last 2 seasons, maybe even longer. They seem to have momentum. I believe it will only continue to grow and propel them into the postseason. Signed by Delbert and the Adirondacks. Adirondacks doesn't get a whole lot of mention down here. That's a big mountain chain there.
That's yours, as New York folk, Tony, where you grew up. But
I've never been in any of them, ever.
It's Eastern New York.
Yeah,
right?
Eastern, yeah.
I mean, we live in the mountains, so we don't get many other mountain references.
Right. No,
hey, you've
right.
been in the Adirondacks? No, we live in the mountains. We don't need to go to the mountains.
Adirondacks.
Smokies.
Rocky Mountain.
Rockies.
Appalachian Mountain
Pyrenees.
Pyrenees.
Live in the mountains.
Mount Everest. Is it just me, Texter writes, or did that win feel better than any wins we've had in a few years? In no way should we have won that game. But the guys fought hard, hung tough. Emmett and Joe took over late. Trey should keep the below-holstered most games, but with how physical, in my opinion, dirty ISU played throughout that game. I didn't mind it in terms of setting the tone for the rest of the game, not condoning elbows, but I'm sure you get where I'm trying to say. One more West Virginia win to feel safe. Thanks for all you guys do. Keep us entertained. Joey in Princeton. Texter writes, what a gutsy performance from the world champion Mountaineers. That was it. That was the game I've been waiting for from this team. Punched in the mouth, knocked down, got up, not only fought back, but win. They showed the heart and the grit that they may have been lacking from recent vintages of West Virginia hoops. This team tonight had that junkyard dog toughness we've been searching for since Dax and JC left. Great team win, key contributions up and down the lineup. How about Emmett's best Sags-Konate impression, protecting the rim on a crucial late possession? Can't wait for this much-deserved ovation on Seniors, gave you the S on Seniors Day. Seniors Day to see if this team can turn the corner and make a run. Let's go Mountaineers, signed by Brian in Chandler, Arizona, by the way, or Weirton. Texter, hey TC, Senator Spreads, Uncle Hoppy. Tommy Boy from Independence. I'm loving all of the love for doing a show in the West Virginia South Territory, also known as Myrtle Beach. Reminder, I offered my house for y'all to stay at on August 10th, 2022. He goes back.
Wow.
This podcast was one of the very few times that the senator wasn't there. Oh, really? Here's some pictures of my beach house located in the awesome Ocean Lakes campground. Oh yeah.
Oh, no, I know Ocean Lakes well.
I think y'all should do the show.
Stay just north of there, a block up from there.
He's calling for a show Memorial Day weekend. You can have my house for free.
What?
That's free.
Also, what I love about your show is how it unites folks from West Virginia and beyond. I always say there's 2 degrees of separation from knowing someone in West Virginia. I, too, know Dougie Fresh's friend, Bill Petros. I called on Bill at the WVU Cancer Center during my days as an oncology sales rep with several biotech companies. West Virginia might be a small state, but the people of it make it so grand. Thanks for the great content.
Did we just wrangle ourselves a beach house?
Awesome.
Oh, I think there's more than one. Huh?
That'd be good. Back down there, Ocean Lakes. Nice little area.
Wait, wouldn't he be shocked if you took him up on that day we're arriving on Saturday? Because spend about 7 days there.
Yeah, we'll be here until we tell you we leave.
Free Saturday to Saturday there set up.
Gentlemen, if you do decide to go on an Eat West Virginia tour, I suggest you check out Everything Cheesecake in Martinsburg. Although you can't find it following the train tracks in Martinsburg, it is located on Stevens Street near the site of the old jail on Raleigh Street. this is good.
Let's see. Those are great directions.
Yeah.
Right? Located on Stevens Street near the side of the old jail.
Where the old jail used to be.
You remember where the old jail was? Yeah, it's right by there. It's right by there.
Absolutely decadent cheesecake is what they offers. In the summer, they go lemon blueberry, and the key lime flavors are to die for. Made in-house, New York style, Reese cup, salted caramel.
Oh.
I've included a flavor menu in a separate text from earlier this month for you to peruse.
In.
She says, I love your enthusiasm covering the games. I was so hyped up at the end of the game, 11:30 Eastern. It was hard to fall asleep. 5 a.m. alarm came awfully early today, but it was totally worth it. Thanks. That's Gail. She loves us.
Great point, Gail. That does happen on those late games.
Hey, Taylor, put up the...
You're engaged late and got the adrenaline
You can't
going.
just go to bed.
You can't
right?
just go to sleep.
No.
You have to listen to the postgame.
Hey, Texter, here's these pictures from the Bavarian Inn. Here's a great story. This is a West Virginia story. So...
Back at the Bavarian. Two references for the Bavarian.
Yeah, so that's David, the owner of the Bavarian Inn, sampling the first pour. Show me the other ones here. So there's the glass, but here's the deal.
Also at the Bavarian.
There's that. Okay, Hoppy. That is Diane.
Focus in, Kercheval. Focus in.
Diane is the director of food and beverage at the Bavarian. Her training for this job was holding down the Kercheval household at times as Nick's nanny.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's Diane. She's terrific. Director of food and beverage at the Bavarian.
Thank you, Diane.
I mean, I don't think she smiles like that. When she pours other beers, I don't think she has the same smile as pouring a Kercheval.
Kercheval makes it to the Panhandle.
You see, that's a microphone.
Although
on the top of the tap there.
I think I see that.
Microphone?
I think in the Eastern Panhandle, most people would think it's Nick Kercheval. Nick's beer.
Yeah, it's true.
People know my brother over there.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
However, we're going to sell it.
Kercheval.
Kercheval's Kercheval.
Yeah.
Nick wants to come along. Welcome in.
Doug in Petersburg, Virginia. Great win Saturday, or great win at Iowa State. Going to my first ever Big 12 tournament as a part of my retirement bucket list.
Nice.
Suggestions, please, as to restaurants and bars. Looking forward to great games. Hopefully that includes WVU. So, P.S., do you text out the frequency of your broadcast during away basketball games? Thanks, Doug's in Petersburg. We do not do an in-stadium broadcast in basketball. Indoors, tough to do. So much RF that's flying around those buildings, so unfortunately we don't.
Just going to listen on the stream. Right?
So but it's so delayed.
Oh yeah, right.
So my number one, there's obviously there's wonderful places there to eat. I'm just going to go with Slaps, SLAPS barbecue. Try that one out there. He's best friends. Joe is the owner. He's best friend, multi world champion barbecue competitor. Best friends with Luke Darnell, who cooked our food for the Kercheval event. Go to Slaps, and then I'm going to try to get back to you, and I'll hit you with like 2 or 3 other places, but you'll eat well.
4.5 stars.
Oh, it's awesome.
Tony, here's for you. Cattleman's Plate.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, when we went, Joe was there, and we said, Joe, order for us. That's all you ever do. When you go to a great place, you just get the owner, you just go like, order for us. That's the best way to do it. Till I got screwed there when we went to, where was that? Fort Worth. And I bought all that food, and the 2 guys, Joe Mock, wouldn't eat, and then the other guy just wanted to drink.
Yeah, you threw poor Joe Mock under the bus for not competing, was your exact quote.
And then the other guy that I was with, my radio engineer, Ron, I get all this meat, he gets turkey. Can I have a side?
Excuse me? See, this is you at a barbecue place. Meat combo plates, sandwiches, poundage.
Oh, yeah, buy by the pound, absolutely. There's a line out of the door. There's a line down the sidewalk when it opens up. Really good. Texter, something I'm confused about Iowa State. Whole ordeal, Trey getting ejected, then the free throws. Why is West Virginia get possession? I think, yeah. So it was a double, so it went to the arrow. Texter. Hello! Scopes, numbers, and some timer. It's P1 listener, Texter, Mitch from Buchanan. I wanted to follow up on my text from last week chronicling my experience of finally getting my hands on some Kercheval. The Zopp brother that I met was actually the youngest of the crew, Bart. Great guy, and I'd venture to say a P1 listener. Shout out to Bart. Now, as for basketball, Tony, I sure hope you gave a real big thanks for having us last night after that win in Ames. Holy smokes, what a roller coaster ride of emotions. At any point during that long review process in regards to the Trey Mitchell scuffle, did Huggs ask for an update from the refs? I assume if he did, the response was likely efforting.
See, that'd be the perfect use of that.
I was also curious. The weeks that you record on Tuesday, how does Brad get his hours in at fine-looking fills? Got to be tough to get his folding and mannequin adjustments done with the studio time requirements. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful Tuesday. Let's get ready for Saturday.
Brad?
Dave, that's a good question. I'll address that. Two things have to happen. Have to get research in a little bit earlier, right? Because I meet Phil's early in the morning, go over do the mannequin. I was there today. Got them both in. Generally come straight from Phil's to the studio.
What did he have you assigned to do today?
I dressed and undressed a mannequin, and then rehung the stuff back up.
Is that hard to do, by the way?
No, it's pretty easy.
They never complain.
Pretty easy. So we did that, rearranged, folded and straightened some stacks.
Okay.
And then added a new duty today, steamed out a shirt.
What?
Steamed out a dress shirt.
Excuse me?
I steamed out a dress shirt. He's got a nice industrial steamer there in the back.
Very nice.
Well,
he just leaves it going.
It's a hand.
Yeah. So you just turn that thing on, wait till it...
Does it get all the...
Yeah, it gets the wrinkles right out.
Perfect for you.
Put it right up inside. So I steamed a shirt out today.
For you. Seriously. No, it'd be perfect because I know you like to keep your stuff clean, just like, and you're done, in and out.
Yeah. It's a great way to do it. So I did that today.
Do you have one? You have a steamer?
I did for years and years and years. Do not currently.
Tony?
So I'm well versed in how to work it.
I had a really bad experience in the mid-'80s with a steamer, so I tend to stay away.
Burn yourself?
I burned someone.
Oh.
Worse.
Oh, maybe you don't want to
I didn't know how hot that steam was.
It's hot.
Oh, and you were
So this was
joking around?
1987.
Oh.
And I'm at the Ohio State West Virginia football game, Major's first road start. And we're coming back from the game since we drove. And I was with Dale Miller and his son, Christian, who now works for the company. He was just a little squirt back then. So we stop at a rest stop on the way back in from Columbus. And the little turkey, I'm at the urinal, and he pushes me in while I'm at the rest stop.
That's a big party foul.
And there was contact with porcelain. And so I put that one in the hopper. A couple weeks later, we're playing at Penn State.
So he won that round. You just took it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just okay. Got it. You got me.
Hey, and giddy little kid, like junior high, little wise ass, right? It's okay. He didn't know who he was playing with, right, Hoppy?
Right. Oh, yeah. It's coming back.
So
we know it is.
So we go on the Penn State trip. A couple weeks later, Holiday Inn State College, Saturday morning, day of the game. I must have, like, back in those days, like, everything was prehistoric. So I must have been, like, rooming with Dale and, like, Christians on the floor or something like that. So getting ready to go to the game, I got this little travel steamer. So I got it fired up, ready to go. Well, he's walking around. He's got, like, his shorts on, you know. He bends, he bends over, like, near to get, like, pick something up. I took that steamer. Put it on the back of his leg.
Oh.
I thought hot air, little ha, gotcha.
That left a mark.
His mom was hot. It not only left a mark, it left scars. Christy was pissed.
Well, she should have been.
Well, he shouldn't have pushed me in Columbus.
Well, no question. Don't know that you need to burn the kid permanently.
I thought
they're branding him.
I thought it was steam. He's over it now. It's been about, 87, 97, 2007, 2000. It's been 30 plus years, almost 40. He's over it now. Probably things are probably healed. Scabs are probably gone by now.
I had my hand in there a little bit today. Had to quick get it out of there.
I think, Hoppy, you know.
So next time you're over there, let me know if you're getting a shirt.
I'll
just steam that for you in the back.
Well, two things, Tony. One is that you are one of those guys that, September of 2012, I did something to you, and at some point you're going to do something to me. So I know that about you. I had a college roommate like that, okay? The second thing is that you did a dumb thing.
Yeah.
We've all done dumb things. You didn't do it malicious. Like, I'll get it. And I'm sure you have felt bad about it ever since. I'm kind of with you on that you felt bad about it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to give him a little hot steam, a little jump out of him. Didn't know it was going to be
we've all done things like, haven't we?
I'm pretty aggressive.
Like, no, I've never burned anybody with a hot steamer. Never sent anybody to the hospital.
Yeah, great.
We're permanently scarred.
His dad thought it was funny.
Yeah, well, Dale would.
Stupid, you shouldn't have done that to him.
Oh. Did he cry?
Nah, no, he was all right. He was all right. He was fine. I hate
we're ending the show on this.
He got through it. No, we're good. Hey, here's foul shooting. Last 5 minutes of last night's game. West Virginia, 11 of 14.
Yeah.
That's how you win the basketball games. Remember John Beilein always used to say when guys would go to the line, he'd say, win the game.
Win the game.
When they practiced every day, win the game. Win the game. So when it happens in the game, you go, win the game. Made them. Oh, by the way, hey, real quick. Someone had texted. They wanted to know during the Kansas game, TV apparently showed a conversation and a laugh with Coach Stevenson and the Kansas staff. And so there was chatting going on. I saw it myself. And he got Norm Roberts over there chortling. And I said to Eric last night, I said, what was that deal about? He said, he goes, I don't talk crap anymore to the bench or anything like that. I just looked at Coach Self, and I went over there, and he dapped me up. And I said, damn, Coach, how hot you got it in this building? He goes, it's hot in here. That's all it was. I mean, Coach Stevens, he's getting a little older. He like a cooler environment to play, but, you got 16,000 in there. It gets a little smoky. So, all right, we're back on Thursday to preview West Virginia and Kansas State regular season.
Oh, hold on. Don't want to forget something. We got a gift. We got a gift. We got a gift.
Yeah. You think he's still listening?
Hold the music.
Kill
That's
it.
why you always got to listen to the end.
There's a very nice shirt. That is from our buddy Aaron Lambert. That's the Lambeau brand. Aaron Lambert.
Okay.
He's our guy. He works at the Carolina factory in Cornelius, North Carolina. That's where James Long, former Mountaineer, former head coach at West Virginia Tech, that's where James is now. And Aaron, who I met back during Christmas time, is one of the head dudes there in their strength and performance. He's the director of strength and conditioning. He's a huge P1 listener. And he sent us, well, you didn't do proper on that. You just made that thing.
Well, it's hard
that's
to
a
hold
hoodie.
Yeah.
That is a super smooth hoodie
T-shirt.
that's off the chart. So, Lambeau, thank you very much.
Might need a couple more, though.
What do we get, one?
Beggars can't be. Yeah, we're going to share it. He'll wear it next week. You'll get it the first week of April, and then I'll take it from there.
Aaron, a couple larges maybe if you're listening. Thank you.
All right, back on Thursday for our producer, Taylor Tucker, Pocahontas, Wirt, Wood,
Wyoming.
He's been on
County.
lately, by the way.
Huh?
He's been right on it.
Well, yeah, he's trying to bounce back. He had a little
Bounce back wins.
He had a cold spell. Three guys before the game brought to us by Gomart. If you're not a Gomart Rewards Card member, you need to sign up today. Hoppy's going to be there later at Flatwoods.
Later today, I'll see you at Gomart.
Save on gas and your favorite snacks. Go to Gomart.com rewards for more details. Go for good times. Go for Gomart.
You've got it down now. Like, you know what's what in what aisles, right?
Now
you go in with purpose.
I don't have to shop
now
around.
It's not like looking around. They're suspecting you of doing weird stuff. Now you just walk right in and go to what you need.
I don't know. I still get the eye, especially when I start taking pictures.
Why is that guy
Slim
taking
Jims?
pictures in the Slim Jim aisle? Three guys brought to us by Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at burdettcamping.com. Three guys also brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. And this was really a good seed this week. We might do some form of a water transport. So we get on a stern wheeler, and then we're going to be flanked by Lou Wendell Marine Sales pontoons as security as we go down the river.
I'm just telling you, you should roll into the Capitol tomorrow with one. Beautiful day.
Lou Wendell Marine Sales,
nice.
St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com, premier pontoon dealer in the state of West Virginia. Thanks so much for listening. Share the word with others. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Let's keep this thing going till at least another 8 or 9 more episodes. See ya.